Hey, chat. TikTok's favorite Greedo, Judo Greedo, coming with you with the first episode of Story Time with Judo. This will be a multi-part story, but wanted to bring it to you. And what's driving this story is Black Friday memories. Many videos are coming across TikTok talking about Black Friday, people not shopping, whatever analysis, and then you got other ones declaring that they went to try to get a Taylor Swift book or a vinyl record, and my war in Target. And it wasn't even a war. So I wanted to come and talk about some of my stories of traveling through life and experiences. And this one is prior military. So this is when I was very early on. You're looking at time frame of November of 1997. I was working for Target at the Midlothian Target store of Midlothian, Virginia, right outside Richmond, Virginia, to give you a context. And we were the second Target store in the general area. I believe there's another one, Short Pump, that opened up like a year or two prior. But this one is brand new in Midlothian. It had its own, there was no attached buildings. It was its own standalone building. It had a huge parking lot. And it was a Greatland prototype, is what they dimed it, G98 at the time. Why, I don't know. I have no idea. But the difference is it had the word Greatland on the Target, and it had two doors. I got hired on in June of 97. I went through an interview process, got hired on, and then started training with their team. I got hired on as a team lead. And we didn't know what we were going to be doing. We just knew we were team leads. And they put us through like a 30-day manager training program, right? Target put together. And it was all of us going through it. And after that, and during this process, our store is being built. And then right around, I want to say September, we started setting the store up, getting product in, and started, it's called Planorama was the time frame. And then the store opened up in October of 97. Target at that time only had 3 periods of opening stores. And that was March, July, and October. Stores didn't open up any other period. And that's how the cycle was. Got in there, excited. The store manager, the STL, was Dan Eggers. The super merchant was Tim. I can't remember his last name, but he ended up going to an STL. My ETL was Kerry Romp. And Scott was the flow team ETL, and I don't remember anybody else. Tracy was the logistics ETL. But he was like an experienced, he didn't stay very long with the store. So he was there kind of help us get set up and get us in our process. And then another ETL came in, and I can't remember who that was. But anyway, long story short, my position, let me start off that the Target was set up in 4 worlds. You had yellow world, soft lines. Red world was like domestics and home improvement. Down on the back end, I think toys and toys. You had Green World, which consisted of HBC, HBA, cleaning supplies, and moved your way up the market in some company space. Blue World was electronics was the lead, and then you have books and movies, and then you had luggage and sporting goods and so forth down the line like that. For me, I was the home improvement, luggage department. Pet World was a pet department, and plants. Those were my departments I was responsible for. So that's what I got selected for. That's what my departments, and those were the team lead I was over. Store opens up October 97, and then we start going into the part of where the store starts planning and staff, and we start bringing on more people to help for the Christmas rush and what Black Friday was. Before this, I was working in a grocery store. There was no Black Friday for me. It was, leading up to Thanksgiving, whatever. And after that, stores didn't do no volume. So this is all new experience for everyone, with exception of pretty much the senior leaders, right? The ETLs, some of the ETLs. So I remember I was sitting at the conference table. Nan was at the front of it. Tim was to my right. And they were going over how we were going to start setting up for the Black Friday ad, and we couldn't disclose it, and talk about planning and staffing and the numbers we were going to need. And the biggest thing was a toy team lead overnight, just specifically for that department. And I remember Dan said, yeah, we've selected it is going to be the person to my right and Tim's left. And I look, and fuck, it was me. I was in that chair. And that was my job. I didn't realize how much was involved in that when I got selected. Now I know why. I was the youngest, right? So I was either going to sink or swim. That was the only option I had, sink or swim. And I wasn't going to give anybody the leverage of putting old Judo down. So we go in, and I'm responsible for stocking. What I didn't realize was the hours that came with that assignment, whatever you want to call it, that position, right? It was 7 days a week, minimal 13 hours. And when I tell you 13 hours, like I didn't even realize I got someone pregnant. That's how many hours I work. I didn't even realize I was with anybody. I was barely home. And I was either asleep or at work, and I ate on the way back. That's when I did, that's how my hours. So I would go in around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening. Truck starts unloading at 10. I'm preparing for the team, preparing for some things. And then sometimes I didn't leave until 9, 10. There were times I didn't leave till noon. I was still working because the store did that much business. There was only one other ETL that did as many hours as I did, worked as many hours as I did. Team lead. So, and I remember Dan, we were just like smoking the overtime. We were hourly at the time. We were smoking the overtime. And, I think there was 1 week, one of my last weeks, I was just over 81 hours is what I worked that week. It was a wild time, but that was the layout. So that was my position. That's what I did. I worked overnights, but moving into Black Friday, as we got closer, one of the day offs that I was lucky enough to get was Thanksgiving. Prior to that day, me and teams set up all the Black Friday locations. They had a thing set up, and we were going to position everything. So we didn't have to really do too much. Hopefully we didn't have to do too much other than set ads the morning of. And to give a context, we had displays set up. We had plenty of team members down there. And when we got there on Black Friday, I got there at 5 o'clock, an hour before opening. The parking lot was 2/3 full. Lines from both doors wrapped around the building. Hundreds of people. We tried to split the loss leaders items. What these are is these items that are guaranteed to lose money on every sale. Guaranteed. It's total loss. Well, all of them was staged. Guests were getting hot coffee. They were getting tea. And we were about to open up the doors to Black Friday, November 1997 at 6 a.m. More on this, part 2. Check it out.